Tank's my baby. Tank Kenny said, out of 100, 2 of them love you. That's one of them that do love you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing I don't want. He's a grown man, and he have the right to make the grown man decisions that he wants. So let's get that. Put that up. Everybody's snatching something and don't even have a clear. And that's what I was saying about social media. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a person say it out their mouth, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis have broken their silence on the rumors of Tank Davis leaving them, firmly shutting down the speculation.
I want to stop this narrative about Tank not paying me, Calvin. Each and every time I worked that corner with Tank, Tank took care of me. And he's going to continue to take care of me. Tank is family from.
Meanwhile, Ford downplays the growing speculation surrounding his relationship with Davis. He makes it clear that their communication remains intact despite the outside noise, suggesting the rumors do not reflect what is happening behind the scenes. For Ford, the public narrative and the reality are two very different things.
Not the fighters, man. We just vent. We just vent to let him know, man. Appreciate your coach, man. Either bad or good, man. Appreciate it, because you don't know the stuff that he's doing and what he's putting in, man. But my guys, question with Tank, Truck, the ones I raised, man, look, they calls me, they talks to me. It's not that. I'm just talking about this new generation I'm dealing with.
Looking ahead, Fannin hopes Davis's team can restore the stability that has long been one of its strengths. He suggests recent changes may have affected the dynamic around the former champion, but believes rebuilding that familiar foundation could prove important before the next fight. In his view, continuity within the corner could make a meaningful difference moving forward.
That's what I think was going on with Coach Calvin and Gervonta. But now it doesn't look like Krishan Rock, because she's got her own issues, is going to be with Coach Calvin much longer, man. And hopefully that will clear up the time that Coach Calvin needs to rebuild with Gervonta, man, and get back in that corner before his next fight, man. Because one thing that I want to see, now I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand the necessity sometimes of fighters to get other trainers, to get a different, look on them, right? In the last fight, they had Barry Hunter in there, but Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny were still in the camp. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen with Gervonta Davis now that Krishan Rock and her little stuff is looking a little bit more funny. There's, her talking about getting out of the country and leaving the country.
Fannin believes Davis should keep the core of his longtime team together moving forward. He argues that bringing in fresh voices can be beneficial, but insists it shouldn't come at the expense of the coaches and support system that helped shape his career. For Fannin, that balance could prove vital in Davis's return.
Anyway, that said, I'm hoping that we're going to see Gervonta Davis back with Coach Calvin, and I think it's very important for him to do that, because I don't think that you need to drop your whole crew. I don't think that you should leave everything that is familiar to yourself. You bring in somebody else to work with somebody else, get some freshness in your camp, but keep your team there, man. Keep the people there around you that love you, the people that have been around you a long time. Now, I know that a lot of that stuff around Coach Calvin and Gervonta Davis has a lot to do with people in the camp, a lot of leak.
Chris Manx expects Davis to return to boxing despite the uncertainty surrounding his future. He believes there will be strong promotional interest when that time comes, but questions whether Davis can immediately perform at the championship level that once made him one of the sport's elite. Everything, he argues, depends on the version that returns.
I do not believe we've seen the last of Tank Davis. I believe Tank Davis in 2027 will be back in boxing. I think there will be a fight for promoters to sign him. You heard Dana White already say he wants to sign Tank Davis. Obviously, PBC works closely with Tank Davis. I know DAZN would love to have Tank Davis. So Tank Davis, when he's able, will be back in the boxing ring. Can he be back and take pound for pound off the table? Can he be back to a championship level? I don't know, man. Like what I saw from Tank against Lamont Roach, that didn't exactly inspire me. That he was motivated, that he was focused, that he was still an elite guy. I think 2 years before that, Tank Davis probably takes out Lamont Roach. No disrespect to Roach, good fighter, but I think Tank at his peak probably stops Lamont Roach.
No disrespect to Roach, a good fighter, but I think Tank at his peak probably stops Lamont Roach. Not everyone shares that level of optimism. Sergio Mora cautions against setting unrealistic expectations for Davis's return. He argues that moving to 147 would present far greater challenges than many anticipate. believing Davis is best suited to the lower weight classes, where his power and style remain most effective.
About 147. Put him in with Devin Haney.
147?
That's what he's talking about.
No
he's
way.
trying to do a deal, fight
See,
Devin
you
Haney.
just lost me there now, man.
Okay.
147, way too small. 5'5". He's not gonna be a 147 pounder. 140 is his limit, and even at 140, he's gonna be a small fighter. If you want him back, I think it's delusional to say that he's a pound for pound fighter. He is not. He's never been. But he is an attraction. He is a pound for pound puncher. He is popular, and he's must-watch television as a lightweight, maybe as a 140 pounder. No, he's not gonna be that once great performer, because there's too many. I was gonna say animals at 147, but there's too many beasts.
Adding to that, Sergio Mora argues that recent performances have exposed vulnerabilities in Davis that bigger, stronger opponents could exploit. While he still sees Davis as a dangerous and motivated fighter, Mora questions whether the explosive dominance that built his reputation will fully carry over against elite competition at higher weights.
We've seen chinks in the armor. If Lamont Roach, who's a natural 130 pounder moving up, has given him issues, can you imagine what a puncher can do at 140, 147 with fast feet, fast hands, and momentum? Nah, I think Tank he's still in his prime, and he's still hungry, and he still has the opportunities. But I just think we're not gonna see that puncher, that pound for pound puncher that made him a star.
You think Devin Haney could beat him at 147?
That brings the focus to Davis's next opponent. Greg Hackett turns his attention to a potential Davis versus Zepeda matchup, but questions why the fight is being discussed so heavily while Davis remains inactive. In his view, conversations about future opponents mean little until Davis makes his return and confirms he's ready to compete again.
So somebody in the they saying fight Tank. Where the fuck is Tank? Where is he? Like, why do people talk about guys that's not fighting? Where is he at? Who's seen Tank?
Yeah, he's not fighting this year.
Yeah, but who's seen him? Where is he? What is he doing?
He looking good. He look in great shape, that's for sure.
Yeah, but he on Twitter talking through a whatever account you call it,
G-Money.
and everybody thinking.
One matchup in particular continues to gain momentum. One analyst points to Zepeda as the type of opponent who could bring out the best in Davis. He suggests the contrast in styles alone makes the matchup worth watching, with each fighter possessing strengths capable of forcing difficult adjustments. How those dynamics would unfold is what makes the contest so intriguing.
Tank versus Zepeda is a can't-miss matchup. It is one of the funnest style matchups in boxing. When you get two fighters, one a pressure fighter with a lot of volume, and the other one a counter puncher with explosive power and great timing. Y'all know what this is? Y'all know what this is, bro? Y'all know the style that this remind me of? Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, the explosive, talented, super athletic counterpuncher extraordinaire with outstanding timing against the pressure fighter coming forward behind a jab with high volume.
Others, however, expect a far more competitive fight. Andre Broner leaves little doubt about how he sees a potential Davis matchup with the newly crowned champion. He expects Davis's power to be the decisive factor, insisting the fight wouldn't require the scorecards if the two eventually shared the ring.
So now he's champion. Tank knocked him out cold. A ugly knockout.
Zepeda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tank knocked him out cold. I'm talking about an ugly one. Family got knocked out. Arm behind the back.
Meanwhile, Fannin favors Davis in a potential showdown with Zepeda. He argues that Zepeda's relentless pressure and high punch output could create too many openings against a counterpuncher of Davis's caliber. In his view, changing styles would bring its own challenges, making the matchup a difficult tactical puzzle for Zepeda.
Me, Gervonta Davis in that fight with Zepeda by a knockout, because Zepeda is too active. He's throwing his hands too much. He's leaving himself open too much. And if he tries to switch to being an outboxer, bro, that is not going to work. And trying to make Gervonta come to him, because that's what a lot of fighters do. They try to hold off and make Gervonta come to him instead of going at Gervonta. Going at Gervonta is a recipe for getting the job.
Adding to that, Fannin describes a potential Davis versus Zepeda fight as a matchup that boxing fans would not want to miss. He believes Zepeda's willingness to engage would produce plenty of action, but also create dangerous opportunities for Davis to land his trademark counters. In his view, that balance of excitement and risk is what makes the fight so appealing.
As far as the fight itself, that's can't miss exciting fight. It just like when William Zepeda fought Shakur Stevenson, it was a can't miss fight. Then I'm gonna tell you right now, if Gervonta Davis is hits William Zepeda with the same stuff that Shakur Stevenson is hitting him with, William Zepeda is going to go to sleep, bro, or he's going to have an eye closed or something busted up, unless, and because you can't tell me that he's got the greatest chin in the world, because I do believe he got dropped by Tevin Farmer. That's something else when you're looking at William Zepeda you got to take into consideration, man. William Zepeda put on a good fight against Lamont Roach, but Lamont Roach has not been able to win a fight in
Furthermore, one analyst suggests the circumstances may be aligning in Zepeda's favor. He believes this version of Davis could face a far more demanding test than many expect, with several factors outside the ring potentially influencing the matchup. Whether those concerns prove significant is what makes the fight so intriguing.
Off for Gervonta Tank Davis, the inactivity for Gervonta Tank Davis. He got 1 foot in the sport, 1 foot out the sport, the lack of commitment to the sport. He got all these distractions going on outside the ring. William Zepeda is the perfect storm at this stage in Tank Davis' career to upset Gervonta Tank Davis. He is it's the perfect timing for him to upset Gervonta Tank Davis. Perfect timing. It's perfect timing. It's the perfect time for William Zepeda to upset Lamont Roach Jr. Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, again, can Tank knock him out? Absolutely. He could catch him, clip him, and knock him out, for sure. I just think it's the perfect storm for William Zepeda to upset Gervonta Tank Davis.
Moreover, the analyst still leans toward Davis in a potential showdown with Zepeda. He believes Davis's experience and fight to change power give him the edge, but cautions against overlooking Zepeda's technical strengths and relentless style. For him, the matchup is far more competitive than the odds or public perception might initially suggest.
I'm picking Gervonta Tank Davis to win the fight, but I absolutely will not be surprised if William Zepeda wins that fight. Absolutely. He's big, he's durable, he has angles. He's like a poor man's version of Manny Pacquiao. You watch his foot placement. He has very, very good feet, very active feet. He has deceptive hand speed. He has deceptive defense. Now, is anybody perfect? No. But his foot placement, his southpaw stance, his work rate, his durability. He got clipped with some punches. I'm like, yeah, Tank Lando's, it might slow him down compared to William Zepeda.
Even so, Davis's position in the division remains under scrutiny. Sean Zittel believes recent results have shifted the conversation surrounding Davis. He argues that prolonged inactivity, combined with how the lightweight division has evolved in his absence, has strengthened the standing of several rivals. In his view, those developments have only intensified the questions awaiting Davis when he returns.
Shakur Stevenson stock up, and Gervonta Davis's stock continues to go down, having not fought in a year and a half, not gonna wind up fighting for at least 2 years or so. And the guy that he had a draw with that would have been ruled a loss if the knockdown had been ruled appropriately, Lamont Roach just got handily beaten by William Zepeda, who Shakur Stevenson handled in decisive fashion in a spirited fight. Zepeda was in that fight, especially the first half and a little bit thereafter, but Shakur clearly won 8 or 9 rounds in that fight, and so that's a credit to Shakur.
As the debate continues, Paulie questions where Davis fits into today's lightweight landscape. He believes the division is filled with compelling challenges that could redefine Davis's standing, but remains skeptical those matchups will ever come together. For Paulie, that uncertainty leaves fans wondering what Davis's prime could have ultimately produced.